Starting your Lock or Natural hair journey is oh so rewarding, but can be extremely stressful when you start to consider what products to use. If that's you, then look no further. Locklicious is a black-owned company that has created an all-natural product line for locked and loose natural crowns. The Locklicious team works hard to ensure that their products are free of parabens, phthalates, sulfates, PEG, synthetics, and other toxic chemicals you find in other products. Best of all, the products are lightweight and will not leave residue or cause buildup. Go to locklicious.com to start treating your crown like royalty.
You know, one thing I had told many of you is that even though the pandemic has been, something that's been bad, is actually have been turning into something good in a lot of areas for our community. Now, for years, I've always talked about the public school system and how, they hire these Karens, these race soldiers, these Kevins, etc., to, not only give our children a horrible, horrible education, where they don't have no listening comprehension, where they don't have no reading comprehension. They don't have any of that at all. They just come out of school, can't do nothing other than maybe basics for the most part, right? Then on top of that, they got to deal with, the school to prison pipeline because the race soldiers in there, other administrators that's always just trying to count out, black children, especially our black boys. So for a long time, we talked about we need to create our own schools. We need to, even homeschool. But the pandemic has forced that to happen. Now, the pandemic itself had forced schools to adopt a virtual school model, sending students home to learn during the height of the efforts to minimize the spread of COVID. Now, they said a 2020 survey by the Census Bureau suggested that a growing number of families discovered learning from home is a viable option. Now, for black families, 3.3% homeschooled their kids in the spring of 2020. By the fall, it increased up to 16%. Now, a sister by the name of Joyce Burgess is said the program director of the National Black Homeschool Association, which we need to reach out to them to bring them on for an interview. I think that would be very good. Gives her reason for the increase. Now, the sister has said that they're making these conclusions, talking about the parents, that peer pressure, they don't have to be bothered with unnecessary racism, bullying, and negative peer pressure. Some parents have chosen to bring their children home because the virtual setting, and then some just aren't able to navigate that as well. Now, that is something that we've been talking about, and there's many virtual academies going on. Now, they say about 85% of students who complete programs go on to college, and the remaining, go straight to the workforce, okay, in a lot of instances. So now I'm going to have to bring something up, and some of y'all may not like what I'm about to say. Don't care, because I always got to tell the truth, and if you don't like the truth, then this is not the place for you. Now, I remember when it came to Dr. Umar Johnson talking about getting to school, and I remember he talked about this originally, and I'm like, oh man, he's right about, how they treat black boys. I know how I was treated in school. And when he talked about starting a school, I was like, yeah, man, I'm behind that. I'm with that. And unfortunately, things wasn't done right with that school whatsoever. Let's call it what it is. Some people may say, well, he got the building now. Okay, that's fine. But that's something that could have been done a long time ago. But unfortunately, in our community, you don't really have to do a whole lot to impress us, unfortunately, because a lot of us are cool with, just mediocre gains. But when it happened with the pandemic, one thing I expected from him, because I'm watching everybody and what they do, I expected the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Online Academy. If not during the spring of 2020, I definitely expected that to happen in the fall for our children. And I think that would have been a great way for him to get the school going. Like my little girl, she goes to a, private school. And when they done virtual, it was from 8:45 to about 1:30, like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then Tuesday and Thursday was 8:45 to noon. Now that same schedule can be done virtually for our children. And so the question I have is, and I'm just thinking about this, why isn't a Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey online academy for the kids? I'm talking about for the people who supported the school and all of that. I think you should go and ask that question. Why isn't that, created? I mean, listen, you connect on Zoom, teach from home. The kids can be out, this public school system. But that's just a question I wanted to put out there. And whatever name you want to call me, some of you, that's fine, don't care. But it's something that we need to ask, because one thing that we need to do is, when it comes to children, and you say you're going to do something for our children, then we definitely got to hold you a little bit more accountable than just anything else, because our kids are in desperate need of, something like that. So maybe you should go ask him that. Block parties are cool if that's what you want to do, but our kids need at least an online academy if you're collecting, funds that long. But more and more schools are doing this, and you having Black created schools that's doing online homeschool now. They're doing this, and they're being very, very successful. And this is what we need to see more and more of. And now the number 16% with our Black children. I would love that number to be at least 90%, at minimum 80% of our children being pulled out of the public school system and getting a thorough education. But I know how dirty these folks are. Let me think ahead. I know how they are. If you get 90% Black children homeschooling, these folks want to change the laws. But see, if they trying to change the laws, then you're going to affect white folks. And they ain't going to put up with that, because they were doing homeschooling way before Black folks were doing it. But shout out to all the teachers that are doing homeschool, that are teaching our children and keeping them away from all the BS that's going on in these schools. I love it. I love it. I love it. And some of you may say, well, I got them in school because of sports. You don't have to have them in school because of sports no more. There's AAU that's out there. If you run track, there's USA Track and AAU. There's so many different outside leagues now. Do you know that even with sports, that they're recruiting for colleges out with the outside leagues a lot more, because they say the high school coaches be on some BS and politicking and playing favorites, versus when you go to the outside leagues and they can actually go see you, and etc. Right? But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this particular story. If more of our Black children are homeschooling, I love it. I'm in support of it, because that's truly doing for self when we teach our own children or enroll them in a school that is taught and ran by our Black people. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play and Apple App Store.
Join me on the 4th annual Homecoming and Pilgrimage to Sierra Leone on December 28, 2021 through January 9th, 2022. We will be exploring this beautiful country, and eligible individuals will be receiving Sierra Leonean citizenship and passports. For more details, check out our website, sierraleonepilgrimage.com, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Go Ham Lifestyle Vlogs, because we all need an Africa escape plan.